everybody, and welcome to another TMI Moment. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. I'm so excited that you are here. If you will, do me a favor and click the share button and share this with someone. Let them know that you are watching TMI with Terra today. If you are watching me now, go ahead and type in the comment section. Um, Let me know that you're watching. Let me know where you're from. If you're watching the replay, type in hashtag replay. And we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Before we do, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, if you would do me a favor, go ahead and click on the link that's in the description box so that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, because as I said, we are going to transition after we get all of you over onto our YouTube page, so that we may not be posting our videos as much on Facebook and Instagram. All right, thank y'all so much. Last week we talked about being your authentic self, and so this week we wanted to continue that discussion. And we started the discussion because I was talking about my book, Finding Your Voice Inside of the Noise. I wrote this back in 2020. March of 2020 is when it was released. And I found my voice inside of the noise, and I have been helping others do the same. And I'm so blessed by God that He used this book as a tool to help so many others be able to find their voice inside of the noise. And what I wanted to do, with this series is just come and talk about some basic things. And for some of you, it may seem elementary, but sometimes we have to go back to those things that seem simple and get an understanding, identify those things so that we can recognize and rectify those things in our lives that we need to maybe improve upon or to change, or it can help us understand ourselves more. Because in order for us to be who we are created to be, we have to understand who we are, why we do what we do. Now, y'all remember that all the information that I share with you, it is not a replacement for professional advice. So if you're struggling with any type of mental health issues or emotional trauma, please seek out a professional to assist you with that. And all the information that I share on this channel or on my lives are strictly to be used at your own discretion. All right, so Friday we talked about how to improve your self esteem, and I thought that it was very important for us to go a little bit deeper with the whole self esteem issue, because for the longest of times, educational policymakers, they in the United States and other places, they brought up the idea of self esteem. And we all know that self-esteem is good, so nobody's disputing that. But with their philosophy, they thought that it was important for students, in order for them to perform well, that they needed to have their self-esteem built up and encouraged early on. And so with this particular philosophy, on the surface it seemed like it was a pretty good idea. But the problem is, if you are going to build your self esteem based on affirmations only and being made to feel good about yourself without any accomplishments or physical results produced by your efforts to back it up, that's where an issue can come. So it's like you're building your house on sand. So this is precisely what happened with a generation of young people that were fed this steady diet of self-esteem stimulation, because that's basically what it was. Just being stimulated through the formation of your self-esteem, not through your actual achievements or your accomplishments or your sacrifices or hard work or any traditional indicators of success, but strictly just by words making you feel good about yourself. So instead, people got self-esteem by being respected just for showing up. That's it. That's all they had to do. Just show up and you get a participation prize. I'm sure many of you, just like myself, received a lot of participation prize certificates and medals and all that kind of stuff. And basically, according to this school of thought, your feelings are paramount. But remember, we said that our feelings are not always reliable. So we can't just rely on our feelings. And it really doesn't work that way in real life. I remember a time, those of you who don't know, I work in ministry. And so I was working with the youth ministry, and I wanted to give some of the youth a trip, but I wanted them to earn the trip because I was paying out of pocket for them to go. And so I gave them XYZ to do, and I said, you know, if you do XYZ, this is what you'll be able to go on this trip, and you won't have to pay anything. And so and it was something really, really simple, honestly. And one of the leaders said, well, I don't know if that's a good idea, because you know, you can make the other ones feel bad if they don't do it, and you know, we don't want to make, you know, them feel bad. And that definitely is not, that was not my goal, and that's not what I would ever want anyone to do, to feel bad about themselves. But you know, I began to think about that, because so many times in churches, in schools, as parents, we set our children up for failure because we give them participation prizes. Those who actually do what they're supposed to do, they get the same thing that the person who didn't do anything gets, which is unfair. We look at one side of the spectrum. We just look at the one who doesn't do it. Now, if there was something that was physically or you know, mentally, where they were incapable of doing or you know, producing that, that's a different story. But when everyone has the same capability and you give everyone the same thing, you're doing people a disservice, because basically you build up their self-esteem, you build up their feelings for feeling great, and so they come out with a high self-esteem. But then in reality, when life really hits, they start to begin to feel frustrated and confused and all of that, because what is created is a self-esteem that's built on hollow self-confidence. Because people can feel that they can do stuff, but in actuality it's only theory, because they've never proven that they have the competence for that, and they've been rewarded with that, with through affirmations, through different prizes, through rewards and stuff like that. And so then what happens when they hit real life, when you're actually given a challenge to produce and to deliver results, most people who have primarily focused on self-esteem without the matching competence, they fall apart like a house of cards. There are many people who want to be called an expert, but they don't do the work to actually be an expert. They don't have the life experience for that. You know, you want to say that you're having a master class, but you're not really a master of what you're trying to teach. And I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes, but that is what is happening. And so a lot of people are walking around with high self-esteem, but they don't have the competence to match it. And so what happens is, self-esteem without competence is a recipe for failure. And so you begin to wonder why you're having a tough time in your life, or you feel frustrated, or you feel stuck in certain areas. It may be because of that, because you have an idea in your head of who you are, or you have a feeling or a high estimation of who you are that doesn't match what you actually can or are willing to do or have done. And so if you're in that place, I want you to feel good about yourself. Yes, please do. And have a high estimation of what your abilities are. But we all know estimation is not the reality. The reality is that that estimation needs to be matched with actual experience. It needs to be matched with actual results, so that you are not just out here wasting your time and wasting other people's time. And many times, if you don't have that tough conversation with yourself, when challenges hit you, it is hard to overcome those. And most times it's very tempting to just want to quit in that moment when you're faced with anything that becomes difficult. So I want to encourage you today that if you're suffering from any of this, there's a really simple or straightforward solution to all of this. And if you stick with me, we're gonna stick together because we want to be our authentic selves, but we want to also be our authentic selves. We want to hold ourselves at the right level of self-esteem that we're supposed to have the right self-confidence that we have, because we have the matching competence, we have the, and as well as knowing your self-image. We talked about that last week as well. And if you didn't hear the videos from last week, you can go to the YouTube channel and you can see all of those videos from last week and get caught up, and so that you kind of understand we're moving um in a succinct order, so that we first dealt with why is it important for you to be your authentic self. And now this week we're going to be dealing with our self-esteem and our competence, and making sure that we are competent because we want to reach a level of success. I'm all about telling you that things are going to work out in your favor. I'm all about telling you that you are going to be a success. I'm all about having words of affirmations, and speaking forth and confessing some things to into existence in our lives. But I'm also at the place where I want to make sure that when we reach that level of success, we have the competence to match it. That we're not going to get ourselves out here on a limb saying that we are this and we don't have the actual results to back it up. I tend to be a task oriented person, so I do focus on actual results. Now I've learned that that in and of itself can be a not necessarily a bad thing, but everything has to be done in balance, because this is a thing. As I said last week, you have people on both ends of the spectrum. You have people who have high self-esteem and low competence, but you also have those people who have low self-esteem and high competence. We need to make sure that it's balanced, and we want to live a balanced life. And so we're going to be talking about that this week. Y'all stick with me. Join me next time. This has been your TMI moment for today. If you would like to purchase the book, Finding Your Voice Inside of the Noise, whether you want the physical copy or you want the ebook, you can go to my website, www.the2asktmi.com, and you can pick up the book there. And y'all, listen. Again, don't forget, click the link, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our first goal is 100 subscribers. We're trying to get there. I know y'all are going to help me get there. If this has blessed you, like the video, share it with someone else. Let them know that with these TMI moments, we are helping you to become the best you. All right, y'all. This is the day that the Lord has made. Make a conscious, calculated decision to rejoice and be glad in it. See you next time.